To look at the VBA code for these worksheets, we need to click on this option, View Code, or I think we can press Alt F11, but I just like to click on this. Ooh, so we get this this menu, and here we can see the worksheets, the instructions worksheet, the test worksheet, and the example worksheet. This is the workbook. This is the whole thing. When you open up an Excel file, it's actually a workbook, and inside that workbook you've got these individual sheets. So this actually, you can write some code here. So when you open up the workbook, this code will execute. And this is, if you double click on this, we'll get up the specific code for that sheet, the instruction sheet. Okay, there's nothing there for the instructions. So let's close that. Let's have a look at the sheet number 2 called test. Okay, here we have some VBA code. Okay, so this particular code is just defining various variables, strings, integers. Okay, I'm not entirely sure how to interpret this so quickly. I'd have to sit down and think about this in a bit of detail. But you can see it's computer code, it's VBA code. I've got to do with timestamps and checking all these things and so forth. So yeah, there's some VBA code in there which we could add to or modify if we need to. That's on the test sheet. So let me just remind you, the test sheet was this kind of strange column. So data is kind of processed and analyzed using that VBA code on that sheet. So let's have a look at the example. That was a more interesting looking worksheet. And there's nothing there. Okay, so the example. Okay, there's no actual VBA code. That's interesting. Okay, so empty. The workbook. So when the whole file opens, what kind of code do we have? Yeah, you've got quite a bit. Yeah, there's quite a bit of code there. So let's kind of go through it. When the workbook opens, you get this menu telling you to press Control A to get the interface. Yeah, we've seen that already. Okay, this is using that TLB file. It's connected to the dynamic link library, which is a system file. Just coordinates things in the computer, I think. Some error messages. Okay, file names. It's just basically checking to see if everything's okay, and so forth. So again, I'm not going to adjust any of this code particularly at the moment, so I'll just close that. We also have forms and modules. So let's have a look at this form. Okay, this is the Arduino Excel interface that will come up when you press Control A. We'll see that in a second. And we have some modules. Okay, so here we have some more functions. Okay, version 2.1 Arduino Excel. There's no date on it, but okay, so okay, this just interrupts, just dumping connected to dates and times. Okay, so that's kind of the code behind this. Like I said, we can add to it and modify it if you want to later. So let's close this VBA window. We don't particularly need it right now. And let's just do that Control A thing, see what happens. There we go, we get this user form coming up. It's asking us to put in a COM port and baud rate. Now this has to be the same as the baud rate that you set in your Arduino sketch. So you might want to write that down. And also make a note of the COM port that your Arduino is on. Okay, so we'll come back to this spreadsheet later.